If you struggle with poor soil, or perhaps you want an easy care, no fuss raised bed, I've got a fantastic low cost solution. Hi, I'm Ben Van Heems, and in this video I'm going to show you just what you need to start your own abundant, easy care straw bale garden.
Straw is the dry, hollow stalks left from cereal crops like wheat and barley. It has so many uses. It makes a great mulch, can be used to grow potatoes and mushrooms, can help keep ponds clear, and makes instant planters, as I'm about to show you.
Straw bales will eventually decompose just like any other organic material, but because the outsides are less insulated than the straw at the centre, they'll decompose a lot slower. So what you're left with is essentially a shell filled with the beginnings of a compost pile, the perfect planter. As the straw rots, it releases its nutrients, feeding the plants growing in it. Straw bales have lots of other advantages too. They raise the planting area, meaning less bending. They reduce the incidence of weeds, pests and diseases. And because of their sheer size, they dry out a lot slower in hot, sunny weather. Genius, right?
You can source straw bales from farms, garden centres, some box stores or DIY stores, or try searching online. I'm off to a friend's farm to collect a few more for what I have in mind.
You reckon they're not going to fit, don't you? Let's see.
Organic bales are harder to find. The crop that went on to produce these straw bales was treated with a short-lived fungicide over a year ago now, so I'm confident they'll be safe for growing in. But avoid any that have been treated with persistent herbicides. Once home, you can place your bales straight onto bare ground, grass or a hard surface like paving. Mine are going into the greenhouse. Ensure the twine holding them together runs along the sides of your bale planters. The cut ends of the straw should then face up, which will make getting water down into the bales a lot easier. Straw bale gardening may look like it's just planting into bales, but there's an essential process you need to complete first. Bales need conditioning before planting, which simply means starting off the composting process. For this we need two things: water and a quick release high nitrogen fertilizer, such as ammonium sulfate, a soluble lawn fertilizer, or blood meal as an organic alternative.
Conditioning the straw bales takes about 2 weeks. I'll pop a day-by-day summary of the process up on screen in a moment, but first let's just take a run through.
There are several steps, but don't worry, it's not complicated. Begin on day 1 by sprinkling 1 cup of your high nitrogen fertilizer over the top of each bale like this. Aim for a nice even coverage. Now water it in with about a gallon of water, that's around 4 litres. If you have time, it's worth filling a bucket with water the day before, so it can warm up to air temperature. This will help to speed things along, but don't worry if this isn't possible or convenient. It just means things may take a little longer. On day 2, simply soak each of your bales with another gallon of water. Now repeat the process over the next 4 days. Fertiliser and water on days 3 and 5, just water on days 4 and 6. On days 7, 8 and 9, add just half a cup of fertiliser to your bales, then water them as usual. Then on day 10, in goes 1 cup of balanced fertiliser per bale. That's a fertiliser with equal parts nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium.
During this time, the temperature inside the bales will increase, easily reaching in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 Celsius, before gradually cooling back down again. From day 11, keep the bales moist, but periodically check where the roots will initially be to make sure it's not too hot. Once it isn't too hot and you think the roots will be able to grow in fine without being scorched, you're good to go. This is usually on about day 12, but up to a week longer if you're using organic fertilisers, which can take a bit longer to work their magic. Any sprouting grains can just be plucked out. The bales won't really look any different, but they are indeed now conditioned, full of composting goodness and ready to plant. You can grow just about anything in straw bales, from leafy greens to beans to onions. It's probably best to avoid root crops as they can be a bit of a challenge, while corn can get a bit top heavy. Large seeds like runner beans can just be pushed into the moist straw like this. Whereas for smaller seeds, simply top the straw bale with 1 inch or 3 centimetres of potting mix, then sow into that.
But straw bale planters are most often used for warm season fruiting vegetables like tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers and zucchini or courgettes. And that's exactly what I'm going to use them for. Start them off in pots, then plant them by pulling or gouging out enough straw to accommodate the root balls. Firm them into place so there's good contact between the roots and straw, then thoroughly water. The dug out straw can be left on top of the bales or banked up against tomato plants as additional support. There's plenty for roots to explore, but that doesn't mean plants can be crammed in. Plant at the correct spacings to ensure enough light, airflow and room to expand. Remember to include supports for climbing plants like cucumber and keep the bales moist with regular watering. You'll also need to keep plants fed. For fruiting crops, a regular tomato fertilizer is ideal. And of course, don't forget to pick regularly to keep the harvests coming. And here's what my straw bales produced last year. Delicious tomatoes, zucchini or courgettes, cucumbers and even some peppers. Another benefit of straw bale gardening is that the leftovers are useful too. At the end of the season, you can break the bales up and add them to the compost heap or keep them dry to use as a mulch next season.
Straw bale gardening can add a new dimension to what you grow. It's great fun too and a real talking point. If you're up for trying it, tell me in the comments section below what you hope to grow. You'll find this project and many more besides in our new book, Grow Veg, The Beginner's Guide to Easy Vegetable Gardening. It's absolutely loaded with ideas and inspiration for all levels of ability and situation, including those without a garden. I'll pop a link to it in the video description below so you can find out more. Thanks for watching, and for more projects, check out this playlist.